Welcome back to the second half. First half will be recorded later and then I will upload, or maybe combine them together. So, in the first half, we talk about the switch statement, equivalent of the if else if, execute statements based on the value of the variable, coding of the multiple conditions, not only for true or false. So, switch statement, we say that if statement, we only one particular condition. Whether it is true, we will perform some set of action or the first set of action. If it is false, we will perform the second set of actions or maybe do nothing, depending on if it is an only if condition. In the switch part, we can put that particular specific condition part not only for true or false, we can look at the value of a variable and decide what we want to do. For example, type of users. If we talk about this institute, teacher, different type of a user. Student, different type of a user. Admins, different type of a user. Admin staff, maybe have a different type of a user. So we are not having the yes or no answer on the type of the users within this institute. That yes or no. Yes, we can say that if you are a student, if you are a member or any kind of a user of the UCOL, you can use the UCOL services or this institutional services. But if you are not, then you can't. So we have a yes or no answer. But when we talk about the privileges, access levels, we have different type of users. Students are different, teachers are different, admin is different, managers are different, admin staff is different. So we have multiple types. Now, what we need to do, how we can handle that kind of situation. So the answer is switch statements. We can exactly implement the else if else if thing, and then we can decide if it is a student do this, else if it is a teacher do this, else if it is an admin staff do this, else if we can implement those things within the if statement, but switch statement will make us things easier rather than if else if else if else if else if. It will make things clear. Okay. So what is a what do you consider that? The syntax for that particular switch statement is switch expression must yield a value. The switch expression, just like the conditional expression, must yield or must evaluated in the true or the false values. This particular specific switch statement, it can be a variable, it can be an expression, but it must yield a value. Value can be a character, value can be a byte, value can be a int, value can be a short, or value can be a string. Even value can be a boolean. But point is that if we need to have the boolean value, then we need to use the if condition. Why we need to switch? Because we have multiple possibilities rather than only two possibilities. So that's why we are using the switch. So we can have that particular specific multiple characters, multiple values, character, in, byte, short, long, double. And then we can have multiple values, just like I give you the student type, user type, student user type, teacher user type, admin user type, manager user type, admin staff, and so on. The syntax is that we have a switch, that's again reserved word, and then we have the switch expression. That switch expression can be a simple variable name. And looking at the value of that particular variable, we decide that what we need to do. Again, we have the brackets within that particular after the switch statement or switch reserve word. Inside the bracket, we put an expression. And after that, we have the curly brackets, the block or the body of the switch statement. Case value 1. We say that case the user is student. Case the user is teacher. The case the user is admin staff. The case the user is manager. 4 different cases. Understand the point? So case are representing for each and every if condition. If the value of that particular specific switch expression is equal to this, do this case. So now we can handle multiple rather than only two values, true or false. We can have multiple values over there. And then again, we case the value 1, student, value 2, teacher, value 3, admin, value 4, manager. And after that value, we put a colon. That's also again case value colon, and then we put multiple statements. One, whatever that you want to do in that particular specific case, and after that particular case, when it fail, it finish, you put a break. Okay. So that is how we can write the syntax, how we write the case. So let's see the example. So when we say that, again, look at that. These are the conditions. These are the if statements are there, which are telling that if the value of that particular expression or the switch expression or the switch variable is value 1, do these actions and then break. If the value is 2, then do these actions, then break. And after the break, it will finish the switch statement, come out of that particular specific switch statement. So break is really important. If you don't put a break, I will show you that how what happened. But if you don't put a break, then it is a possibility that if you don't put a break, like in the value 1, you don't put a break over there, what will happen? It will start executing the action of the value 2 as well. That's what we don't want. If we want, design it carefully. Okay, and if we don't want, then you must put a break over there. For example, we have asked user to enter the value day of the week and show him the day. 0 means Sunday, 1 means Monday, Tuesday, and so on. If the user gives these values, then we can decide that it is a Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, whatever it is. Okay, so we have this particular specific code. Again, we are asking in the first two lines, we are asking the user to give us the value and saving that particular value in the integer value day. And then we are putting a switch on the day value. And then we are giving enter the day of the week between 0 as a Sunday and 6 as a Saturday. So it means if the user is intelligent enough, it's not dumb, it will provide us the value between 0 and 6, not something like -5, -10. My name is Abbas Malik and so on. So it will provide us the appropriate value which match with this input statement. If that happen, then we are saying if the case is 1, print that 2 days, that day is Monday, and then a break. If you say that Tuesday, second, case 2, case 3, case 4, case 5, case 6, and then we ask case 0, and we also have a default one. Default means if the user is giving me some value which is not between, is covered in these cases, what will happen? It will say that wrong day input. So we are giving the error message to the user that you have entered a value which does not match to our cases. So this is a default. If no case is matched, the value is not 0 or not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, then what will happen? You can remove that particular default part and do nothing. In case that particular specific user is giving me the wrong value, don't give any response. But it's better that you give a response. So again, default section, the last part, default section is totally optional. You can't remove it. Okay. So user input way 1, it will print that particular specific statement. If the user has given, so what will happen here? It will print come and match the day case. It will print the value and then it put a break. When it put a break, that particular specific statement will finish. It comes out of the switch statement. Match a case, whichever case is matched, perform the actions, break statement, come out of the switch statement. Understand? Any questions so far? If the user has given me the value 3, again, it will match that particular specific case, come and execute the break statement, and come out. Whenever that break happen, it will come out of the switch. You say that now it's time to stop that switch. So brake in your cars, stop it. No more journey. So here brake mean that no more statement are going to be executed within this structure, and that structure is switch. Even if you put a break in this if statement, it will come out of the if statement. Come out of the structure. If it's an if structure, it will come out of the if structure. If it is a switch structure, it will come out of the switch structure. Okay. Now they consider that we have removed that break statement at particular specific statement. This particular specific break has been removed. The value is 3. What will happen? It will execute that particular specific part. Then it will execute this part because we don't have a break over there. If break is not there, it will start executing the next statement, which is after this statement. There's a case, yes, but actually this is a statement, which is executable statement. It will go to the next statement. Okay, and then it will execute the break. Come on. No. It will execute the break, and once it will execute, it will come out of that particular switch statement. Okay, so if you are making that kind of a things, then it's a logical error. Yes. I mean, you are saying. I mean, the question is that can we use the curly brackets instead of the break? No. The reason is that the switch structure is designed in this way. We have case, value, colon. After that colon, we can have multiple. Here we have, I have given only one statement, but here you can have multiple lines. I mean, after that colon, you can have 10 lines or 100 lines or 1000 lines. They will be considered as a part of this case without the brackets. So brackets here does not mean anything. Okay, and whenever you are executing the break, it will bring us out of that particular specific break statement. Make sense? And if you forget to put a break, that is a logical error, because the statements that you don't want to execute, they will be executed, and that is something which is not accepted or expected or not desired. It will happen undesirably, so logical error. Okay? Make sense? So break, we can't replace the break with the curly brackets. No, that's not the case here. Okay? For example, we can design something like this in which we say that we don't want to put a break after each case. Okay? So we are saying that okay, value 1, value 2, value 3, perform these actions, and after that, take a break. If the value is 2, it will only perform these two actions, the second two. If the value is 1, it will perform all 3. If the value is 3, only one action is performed. So look at that. If the value is 1, it will perform all 3 actions, or all 3 set of actions. If the value is 2, it will perform only the actions for the value 2 and value 3. If the value is 3, only the actions for the value 3 are performed. So we can do something like this. We can design something like this. If the value is 1, we are not only performing the actions for the 1, we are also performing the actions for 2, and we also need to perform the actions for 3, and then we put a break. Yeah, that's possible. Depending on what you are designing. For example, the same day example. If I say I only want to find out it is a working day or it is a holiday, it's a weekend. Working day or a weekend. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they are working days or the weekdays. Okay. And for the 6 and 0, it is a weekend. Yeah. So we can do something like this. Case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's a weekday. Of course, we can put here, it's Monday, it's a weekday. It is Tuesday, it is a weekday. It is I mean, Wednesday is a weekday. If I do that, what will happen? Now, I'm not only giving the particular specific weekday like this one, but I'm also saying if it is one, just show that it's a Monday. And if it is two, just show that it is a Tuesday. If it is three, then show that it's a Wednesday. If it is four, then show that it is a Thursday. And if it is five, show that it's a Friday. I put that statement over there. Yes, that's fine. But what could go wrong? I mean, if we are giving any case, what it will happen? It will, if we give one, it will print the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then say it is a weekly day. If we give three, it will print Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then say it is a weekday. So that's not we don't want. So we stick to that previous one, whether it is a weekday or whether it is a Sunday. And if you want to do print the what you can say that if you want to print that particular specific Monday and it's a weekday, it means that you need to put these two statements within the case one. It's a Monday and it's a weekday, and then put a break. We can solve that particular specific thing, but we can't have without the breaks these things. You're making sense that why this is not a good idea to print the things and then you say that it's a weekday, because it will print whatever the case match. After that, it will print all the days and then say it will be it's a weekday. Any questions so far? No. So can you identify the problem? We already talked about that. So default part is optional. It means that this particular default part, we can just remove it. We don't need to write that default part. It's optional. You want to write it or not? Totally up to you. Sometime we want and sometime we don't want. Clear? Okay. So we have again, this is the flow chart of that one. String reference. Remember, we talk about variable by value and variable by reference. String is a reference type variable. If we have a string, it will have the variable is equal to some space where the address of the actual string where object is stored. It will go there. It means that particular string variable is actually representing the reference, and that reference part is again have the address of the actual string object. So string is a predefined class within the C sharp. Predefined. It's already defined, and we have a specific method. And someone was asking that can we convert that string into the character? And I think that we can see that particular specific here and see what's going on. We that string is actually is a combination of characters, collection of characters. When we will talk about the arrays, that is the collection of the same type of variables, then we can discuss it more. But we will try to see that how we can access individual variables, individual characters within the string. So string has certain properties. What is a property? What is the length of that particular specific string? What is the length of that? How many characters are there? You can simply say that. That particular specific string that we have created, how many characters are there? What is the length of that string? Text. And then we have method, to upper, to low. It's very simple. If we have a string, if you want to convert all the characters to the uppercase, capital A, capital B, capital C, you can say use that to upper method, and it will automatically convert that whole string to the uppercase. To lower mean it will convert all the characters to the lower if possible. Of course, it is 0, 1, 2, it can't do anything. But if it is A, B, C, then definitely if it is capital, it will convert that to the lower. And then we have a trim, trim and trim. These are the trimming. I will see that we can also have a split. Split mean that we are splitting the string into two different parts. Substring mean we are trying to find out a specific string that if it exists within that particular specific, or maybe we are trying to find out a smaller part out of the string. Then we have remove and replace. So first thing is first, so we say that length. If you want to say that Abbas Malik and you call Princess Street, Palmerston North, that your address, so you can find out the length. So we know that A, B, B, A, S, that's the length is 5, answer is 5. If you just print it, it will show you the 5. And then 5, and then here it will give you the value 39. Clear? Length, simple. How many characters are there? Including the spaces. Here, look at that. We have spaces between the U call, after the U call comma, and then princess and the street comma, and then the palmer. So we have the spaces. Even space is also considered as a character. Okay? And then, including the spaces, it will give you the complete length of that particular specific string. Two upper, two lower. The first name, I say that make it two lower. So it will convert that capital A to the small a and it will print. Cap 2 upper mean it will take all the characters and try to convert it to the uppercase. So it will give me the capital letters only. Trim, consider that we have first name and then we have the spaces at the beginning and at the end. If you look at that, my name, Abbas, we have a space at the start, we have space at the end, and then we have last name. Again, we have the spaces in the beginning and small. This, to trim, what we'll do, I say first name, trim start. It means if we have the empty spaces or this, we say white spaces at the beginning of that particular specific string, it will remove all of them. And if you look at that, it has removed these spaces before that one, before Abbas, and printed. It should not be these small a, it should be capital A. Copy paste from the previous slide. Because I have not applied that to lower it on it. I just say trim start. So it will remove the empty spaces or the white spaces from the start of the string. Trim start. Trim end, it will remove the white spaces from the end of the string. So trim start, remove the white spaces from the start, and trim end, remove the white spaces from the end of the string. And whenever there is a non-white space character will come, that is S, it will stop. First non-character. It is not that if we have like in the address part we have Palmerston North and then we have spaces in between, it is going to remove that. No, only at the start or at the end, if there are white spaces, we can remove them. Not in between the string as well. Okay, only start and end. Starting of the string or the ending of the string. And for example, I give you the example here. For example, we have Abbas Malik. Okay, and when we trim, it is not going to remove the space between Abbas and Malik. It will only remove the spaces at the start and at the end. Clear? So that is a trim function. Normally we use it. Sometimes they are leading spaces or the spaces at the end which are unnecessary. So we can just remove them. Okay. We talk about substring and the splits. Inside the memory, actually it is like this. For each character, it will have a character value, and each character value, that index value start with 0. The first character is actually at the 0 index value, and then 1, 2, 3, and up to 38, and the length is actually 39. So this is how the string exists, the value itself exists inside the memory. Each character is there, and that's a collection of the character. And now I write that particular specific statement, substring 34. So what it will do, it will find out that particular specific number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 34. Starting from that, if we have provided only one value, starting from that value, it will find out the value which is going towards the end. So NORTH, north, so that will return me this particular specific substring 34. It will return me 34, or sorry, north. It will return the substring north. If we are giving only one value, integer value, it will find out that particular specific index position, that is 34, and starting from that towards the end, it will bring out that substring and return that thing. Clear or not clear? Next one is we have given two values. When you say given two values, it will find out the value 15 or the index value 15, and now we are saying that only take 6 characters after that. Only 6 characters. So starting from the index value 15, that is S, it will take 6 characters, S, T, R, E, E, T, 6 characters, and it will return back street. Making sense? Only one index value or the one value or one integer value, it will go to that particular specific index value, and starting from that point towards the end, it will get that substring or the sub part or the smaller part of that string. And when you give two values, 15 and 6, it will go to the 15 index value, and remember the index value start with 0. The first character is 0. 15 mean it is talking about the 16th character, not the 15th character in that string. And we will talk about what is the index value when we talk more about arrays, because in the arrays, the index, the first element, the index value is 0. So this is also a collection or the array of the characters. So the index value start with 0 and the end with 38, which is 1 less than the length of that particular specific string. So when you talk about 15, go to the index value 15, that is actually 16th character, and take next, starting from that point, take the next 5 or including that one, 6 characters from there, and then that will be a substring. It will return by this particular specific address dot substring 15, 6. Make sense? Any questions? Again, we can split. We can split the value based on what you can say that we can split that particular specific value based on any value. But here we have selected that split this particular specific string based on the comma. So look, how many commas are there we have? After U call we have comma. We have comma after the street. Okay. So what will happen here? It will find out that commas in that particular specific string and make a array or the collection of strings. Now this one will become the first string. This one will become, this is the first string, this is the second string, and this is the third string. And it will return me a collection. Now it is not going to return me a one string. It is going to return me a collection of string. 3 strings. Split from the comma. So it will return me U call. Comma is deleted. Okay, comma is not returned. Okay, only U call, space princess, and space Palmerston North, space north. So it will return me a collection or the array of strings. Split. Does it make sense? And you can choose whichever. It is not necessary it should be a comma, it can be any character. Because we are giving a character, it can be a, it can be a space as well. Okay. I want to find out all the words in that particular specifics. All the words in that particular specific string. Then you can put a space over there. Single quote, space, it will split that whole string on the spaces. So if we say space, what will happen? It will return me you call comma, space is moved, princess again, space, so space is removed, street, comma, space, Palmerston North, space, North. So it will give me 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 strings as a return of array of the 5 strings. If we say that particular specific split is actually based on space. Make sense? So this is the substring and the split. These are the methods which are already there. You don't need to define these things. They are predefined within that particular string class or the string data type. Okay? Scope of the variables. Scope of the variable mean that you have declared a variable where you can access it and where you can use it, the part of the code. Understand? Scope of the variable mean that the area of the code where you can use that particular specific variable by its name. And it is possible that we have the places where you can't access a specific variable because that particular code area does not come within the scope of that particular specific variable. When you say class level variable, we can define the class level variables, method level variables and the block level variables. These are different scopes which exist within the C# or in any other programming language. It's more or less same. Okay, scope. For example, we have that particular specific using namespace. Within the namespace, you can't define anything. Only the class you can define. So within the namespace, we have class. If we are defining something within the class, that will be called a class level variable or the global variable. Anything comes between these two brackets, this bracket, which are representing the block of the class, we can access it. And within that particular specific class, we have the method. So again, we have namespace. In the namespace, we have class. So this is a class level, a block. Then inside the class, we have the main method. If we are defining something in the main method, like we have defined that particular specific constant double pi is equal to, that's a named constant we have defined. And then we also have a double radius. Okay. And it is in the method. So we have defined in the method, we can access these two values anywhere within that particular specific brackets, these blue brackets you can see. Understand? So class level. And then we have if radius is greater than 0, that is a block. Within the if block, we are defining a variable that is a double area. Make sense? So we have a namespace, then we have a class, then we have the method, and then within the method we have that particular specific if block. It's a block. Of course, method is also a block, class is also a block, and if you look at the namespace, it is also a block. They are all blocks. Curly brackets, these represent a block. So everything goes fine. That's a block level scope. This is our method level scope. This is our class level scope. If you have defined a variable, if you have declared a variable within any kind of the scope, it can only be accessed within that scope. If you have defined something at the method level, that can be accessed in the block. Why? Because this block is also the part of the method. Understand? Because this internal block, that is if block, it is the part of this method block which comes in between, inside that block yes, you can access the variable double radius and the pi, and that's what exactly we are doing here. We have a radius, multiply by radius, and pi r square, that is the formula for computing the area of a square. We can access, but if we try to access the area within the method out of that particular if block, no, you can't. Why? Because you have defined that particular specific area within the block scope and you are trying to access it out of it, then it's not possible. Okay, so these are the methods which are defined in the method space. These are the method which has been defined in the block space or the block scope, so we can only access within those scopes. We can also have, I mean, if, for example, if I try to, I mean, I'm just printing a screenshot from my computer and then say that I try to access that particular specific area out of that particular specific block. And what happened? It gave me the message. Underline the area, and then when you come here, it will show me the message. The name area does not exist in the current context. It means that name area, I can't understand what do you mean by the area. What is meant by the area, because it's not defined within that context, within that scope. So if we have defined inside a if statement the block, we cannot access it outside of that particular specific scope. Understand? Making sense? This is a block scope, and once that particular bracket finish, that variable is considered as a disappeared. It does not exist anymore. It cannot be used out of that particular specific bracket or the block. Clear? So this is the method scope. We can access the variable which is in the upper level to the lower level, but from the lower level we can go to the upper level? No. Within the block, go to the method level? No. Method to block? Yes, possible. Class scope, again, this is our class scope and I have defined this particular specific named constant. Now, I can access that particular named constant anywhere within the class, anywhere. Doesn't matter. We can go inside, we can dig deeper, we can access the methods or access the variables which are coming from the above scope to the lower one, because they are actually the part of that scope. Okay? So we can access it anywhere within the method scope or within the block scope, doesn't matter. Problem. Any questions so far before we can jump to that problem? Because this is the thing that we are going to, I leave you with a question that how we can solve that kind of a problems, and then in the next class I will answer those questions. Do you understand that scope part? Clear? So, sorry. The question is, and the other thing, I'm not going to edit these videos, these excuses and whatever it is it will be uploaded onto this YouTube, because I'm not a YouTuber, but I expect that if you can subscribe to my channel, maybe I will get some money out of it. I don't know. but that is not the main objective. The main objective is to give you something. If you can go back home, you want to recall the lecture, you can see that, and that's the main objective. Okay, money is not the objective right now. So the first, add first n integers: 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7. But how we can solve it? Any thoughts? Right. For example, I say that n is 10. So you say that as sum is equal to 0, sum plus equal to 1, sum plus equal to 1, sum plus equal to 1, sum plus equal to 1. You are adding 1 all the time. And then you write 10 times that statement, and then you will get the sum. Yes or no? or maybe say sum plus equal to 1, sum plus equal to 2, sum plus equal to 3, sum plus equal to, I mean, you are adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 10 statements, we get the answer. Int sum plus equal to, and then you can continue how many times. If it is n is 100, you need to write that 100 times. If it n is 1000, you need to write that particular specific statement 1000 times. Do you think it's a good idea to write that kind of a program? If I need to add 1 million first, and like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 1 million, then you can next three months you are going to write that particular program. Plus equal to 1, plus equal to 2, plus equal to 3, and so on, 1 million. Next 3 months, maybe 1 month, you are writing that code. So do you think that the designers of the programming languages are dumb enough that they will not solve the problem of such kind of a things? Any next slide? Yeah. So console.write sum is this, and then okay, again print the patterns. This is also a problem. Why want to print that particular specific pattern? It is a specific, very predefined. In the first line, print 1 star. In the second line, print 2 star. In the third line, print the third star, 3 star, and so on. That's what exactly we are doing. You have already done that in the first lecture. So you say that you print statement, how many stars are there? If 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 10 statements, you make that statement. If you can see in the program, you will be able to see in the console as well, that particular specific pattern. But what if again, if I say that I want to print that particular specific, but 100 lines, writing that 100 lines, good idea? No. Writing multiple lines, how to solve such problems in a more efficient way. And that is the question I left with you. And of course, we will try to answer that particular specific question, how we can do these kind of things, which are repeating itself again and again, and how we can do that. Okay, so that's the end of our lecture.